Helios is the new for 2025 roller coaster Fantasiana. This serves as the park's new signature attraction, as it replaced the former Wild Train. But is Helios better than its predecessor? Find out in this review. In 2005, Fantasiana opened its first roller coaster in Wild Train. Built by PAX, this ride looked like a family coaster, but it rode like a thrill coaster. It offered some of the most violent airtime on the planet. It offered negative Gs exceeding most RMCs. I personally loved the experience, but it definitely shocked a lot of kids in a bad way. Wild Train closed after the 2024 season, but the park has substantial replacement ready. Helios opened in 2025 as the third Mack Big Dipper. This essentially is Mack's version of the Eurofighter. It is a compact and budget-friendly thrill coaster. Interestingly, the fourth Big Dipper also opened in Austria this year as well. That would be Vener looping at Vener, Prater, and Vienna. Helios has several advantages over Wild Train. 1. This coaster can actually operate in the rain. Wild Train could not run during or after rainstorms due to its booster tire lift. A lot of parks in the US close their coasters in rain, but this is a very rare occurrence in Europe, so is a point of frustration for many guests. 2. Helios is a thrill coaster that actually looks like a thrill coaster. This means people know exactly what they're getting themselves into. 3. This is a visually impressive coaster. Fantasiana's latest additions have had some thematic elements. Wild Train, being one of the park's older rides, had zero theming whatsoever. It did not fit in with the rest of the park. Meanwhile, Helios has a windmill above the entrance, a beautiful plaza with multiple buildings, an ornate station that's nearly as tall as the coaster itself, a queue with some set pieces, and stonework on the far side of the attraction. And that brown track beautifully works with the adjacent architecture. Beyond the theming, this coaster's placement is fantastic. The ride runs alongside the parking lot to hype guests up for the day. Not only that, the first two inversions take place directly over the main entrance. One potential con with this coaster is its capacity. It has just one train. This was for budgetary reasons, and that lone train holds a max of just 8 riders. Thus far, this has not been a major issue for Fantasiana's crowds. I visited on a weekday in early summer and was able to lap this coaster to my heart's content. I was on every single train that cycled until the afternoon. The park said the longest waits thus far have been 30 to 45 minutes. The coaster can operate with 2 trains, so the park will consider purchasing a second train in the future if needed. This coaster operated with just a single operator, but they were very efficient. They quickly checked all 8 restraints and dispatched the train. The only delay was if they waited for additional riders to make their way through the queue. While this is a Big Dipper model, the ride uses a striker train. Previously, these trains had only been used on Voltron at Europa Park, which was the prototype striker coaster. There are 2 big differences between these trains. 1. Striker cars can be chained together to form longer trains. Big Dippers only have a single car with 2 rows of 4. However, Helios only uses a single car train, so this doesn't make a difference here. What is more important is the added bracing for the wing seats. These seats are positioned past the edge of the track. This offers a more freeing ride, and since you're further from the center, you have amplified laterals, but this position also makes the edge seats more susceptible to vibrations. The prototype Big Dipper and Lost Gravity at Walibi Holland can deliver a noticeably bouncy and shaky ride in those outside seats. The edge seats on Helios still have a bounce to them, particularly in the far turns at the ends of the layout, but it's not too bad in my opinion, and overall, I think it's a reasonably smooth coaster for the most part. I found it fully tolerable no matter where I sat. If you are super sensitive to a shuffle, I would pick an inside seat. If you want a wilder ride, pick an outside seat for those superior laterals. I thought the left side was better for the first drop, but most other elements hit better on the right side. As for front versus back, I did not notice a difference from a force perspective. I guess pick the front if you want the breeze. The most important seating consideration is if you're on a wing or not. Once seated, riders are secured by comfortable overhead lap bars. These are similar to the ones found in Mack's newer coasters. They do come down tightly, but they are ergonomically profiled in a way that do not inhibit the out-of-your-seat forces. Once dispatched, a red curtain lifts and you roll forwards into a brief dark ride scene. I had no clue this even existed, but it's a fun little start. You have another curtain in front of you with 3 flaming horses projected onto it. They are running forwards. They disappear into a ball of fire, and the curtain opens, revealing the lift. At this point, you'll notice another cool feature. The coaster has onboard audio. It is a triumphant score that flows beautifully with the layout. You are hoisted atop that lift lightning fast. It takes less than 10 seconds to reach the top. Part of that is because the coaster is just 76 feet or 23 meters tall, but a larger contributor is the high-speed chain lift. Few chains out there are faster. Once at the top, you level off briefly, staring out towards fields. Then, you have a steep and devilishly twisted drop to the right. It is very similar to the one in Lost Gravity. It offers excellent laterals on the left side of the train as you are whipped around 180 degrees. You also get some floater here as well. The laterals do diminish on the right side because you have a lesser turning radius, but the airtime is a bit more pronounced at least. Next is my favorite element on the ride, an extreme outer banked camelback. This is banked much more severely than usual, so you're nearly perpendicular to the ground. At the same time, you are treated to ultra-sustained and strong floater airtime, and as gravy, you have an amazing near miss with the station as you pass on over it. Then comes a step down. This offers a solid ejector pop. It is probably the most forceful spot negative G's in the ride. Next is the first of 3 inversions, a 0G roll. This is also where you'll notice Helios' pacing gets a bit wonky. Half the remaining elements are deliberately tall, so the train crawls on through them. It seems like the train will valley, and honestly, I think that high-speed lift is 100% necessary for the train to actually complete the layout. The slower speeds maximize the hang time, which for me is a positive. I love that sensation. The 0G roll in particular is great hang time. Then the twist itself is very tight, so it also throws you forwards a bit as well. This is absolutely delightful, those freeing restraints. You then twist upwards, getting the first real shuffle on the ride. Once at the top, you nearly stall out once again, but this makes it so the following barrel roll down drop has exceptional hang time. You also get some okay laterals during the rotation, and the pullout passes through a stone archway. You barely clear it on those wing seats. Helios then jumps upwards, offering weak floater for all. Then the train careens through a corkscrew through the station. This has frighteningly tight clearances, so you really feel like you'll strike the building on those wing seats. The element itself once again offers nice hang time. In addition, it also has great laterals, particularly if you're on the right side of the train. You then have a mild rightward turn, but the train will still shake on through it. Then comes an outer bank stall. This is yet another spot where it feels like the train will valley. This causes your body to limply dangle sideways. It feels more like lateral hang time on the left side of the train, but on the right side of the train, it feels more like weak sustained floater airtime due to the higher angle that you take it at. The exit passes through another stone archway, creating another great near miss. By this point, the train has split off most of its speed, so the finale is quite tame and underwhelming in my opinion. You have a little less bend alongside the midway. Then, there's one last rightward turn. This is no force, but the train will shake through it, possibly due to the tight turning radius and the slow speeds together. The audio then has its grand finale, and you hit the brakes. The train then returns to the station, ending the 1,542 foot or 470 meter long coaster. That is not a lot of track length, but the coaster packs enough elements to feel complete in my opinion. Now I touched on it a bit already, but does the pacing work? For me, it mostly does. I equate pacing to how engaged I am, and I like most elements on this coaster. The start is fast and seems universally loved. Then the rest of the ride comes down to how much you like hang time. I personally like how the train slows down for the inversions and the outer banked stall to maximize hang time. My only gripe is the finale because those last two elements don't really do anything for me at all. So what would I rate Helios? I would give this coaster an 8 out of 10. This is a great ride. There are some hills with solid airtime, most notably the outer banked hill over the station. Then all three inversions offer wonderful hang time. Then the layout mixes in plenty of laterals, especially if you're on the end seats. And the whole attraction is plussed by theming and onboard audio. The cons with this coaster are minor in my opinion. I mainly wish the finale were stronger and that the turns tracked a little better, but overall, this is a strong coaster well worth seeking out. Is it better than Wild Train though? For the park? Absolutely. Thematically, it fits in way better with the park's later additions, and it's a more impressive looking ride that can hopefully draw in some older guests. Everyone I saw getting off this coaster was smiling. The same could not be said for the older Wild Train. I saw several kids come off crying due to that coaster's surprise intensity. Heck, a lot of parents came off shell-shocked because the coaster looked so unassuming. I personally prefer the unhinged violence of Wild Train, but that is the opinion of a seasoned coaster enthusiast who loves crazy rides. That is not the thoughts of the average family visiting this park. That is why I ultimately think Helios was an upgrade for the park, even if it meant the loss of Wild Train. The other big question I know people will have is whether Helios is better than the aforementioned Vener looping. For me, it is. I prefer Helios because it's a total package with the auditory and visual elements. Vener looping is a superior drop and better positive Gs, but I think Helios has better forces overall. Those are my thoughts on Helios, the new for 2025 Big Dipper coaster Fantasiana. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.